States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Vasili.
Present.
Mr. Javits. Mr. White. Mr. Bonnie.
Here.
Supervisor.
Here. I apologize. I meant to move that flag out. I know that it's behind the scenes there, but next month I promise you we'll have it out here. 2 weeks from now. Public input. We have first up Susan Figueres.
Good evening. Susan Figueres, 87 Mount Farm Road, and I'm a little bit out of breath, more so than normal. I'm going to speak and then bolt out of here tonight, but you can ask George any questions. We've had some exciting developments, but first I want all of you to say a great big thank you to Councilperson Vasili. He went to see Congresswoman Nita Lowy with me on Monday, thank you. I'm sorry, on Monday, and she has committed to writing us a letter to the Army Corps requesting clarification of what is in the presidential permit and the EIS. We've got a little more news. Annie Wilson from the New York, I'm going to get the title wrong, Environmental Justice Project in New York City, and I have been corresponding with the Army Corps of Engineers. It appears that the information that the presidential permit is based on is incorrect. It is. And so we sent a letter to the Army Corps and said, please clarify. The Army Corps sent us back a letter and said, an email. I've got copies for you and I emailed them because I want them in the minutes. The Army Corps sent us back an email and said, the DOE will handle it. The DOE sent us back an email and said, it's the applicant's responsibility to give us correct information. Now, can you imagine if somebody went to our planning department and told them we were going to bring it in on Main Street, and we decided to bring it in on 202? What would we do to that person? So what we have here is Chippy, in the presidential permit, has stated that they will come into the United States in the bed out of the water of Lake Champlain. It's in the presidential permit. Hydro-Quebec changed the trajectory in its entirety. It is a land-based installation, and it's coming into New York in a small town called Rouse's Point. And of course we called them. They have no clue Chippy is coming. That means they did not follow the EIS mandates. There is no environmental impact statement. They have never had adequate public notice. What would we do to somebody who tried to do that in our town? Right? So I've given it all to Councilman Vasili. I am very excited because now they're acknowledging that there's a mistake, incorrect information in the presidential permit. And then the other thing that puts the icing on it is that the Coast Guard has repeatedly stated there's an anchor snagging issue, whether it's on the transmission line itself because it is not dug deep enough, or it will be, you're going to love this word, on the protective mattresses that go over the line. They are concrete blocks wired together that kind of wiggle. Do you know how much back and crude we have going up the river? An anchor is an important piece of navigational equipment to a tanker. And if he throws that anchor out and snags that electric line with hundreds of millions of gallons of back and crude, what happens? We made Congresswoman Lowy aware of this, and she was not happy But I'm not gonna put words in her mouth. We're gonna wait. We're gonna receive her letter, and we're gonna continue to push, to ask, to request for assistance. And let me tell you, Mr. Basili did a fabulous job. I babbled, he managed. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. The other thing, and I hope it makes you as angry as it did me, you know the right-of-way they swear they own, the CSX right-of-way? The one that doesn't exist? They're now selling fiber optic space on it. So they're going to run fiber optic cable on the right-of-way, but they don't own it. But they're already selling it. I have a presentation which I'll email to you, Tom got part of, that Donald Jessom in June of 2014 went up to Canada and told CSX that they would help them confirm their property rights and privileges. Hello? So Blackstone is making hay and making money where they can. I've got the documents, Councilperson Basili has them. I'm very excited about the fact that the chief of the Bureau for Army Corps of our region seems to feel that the trajectory will match the DOE trajectory as stated in the presidential permit. The problem is, all of the documentations and maps, which Councilperson Basili saw, do not match the presidential permit. So, Mr. Supervisor, I'm going to ask you one more time to take our resolution and state to Brian Mills, the DOE, Stephen Ryba, the Army Corps of Engineers, to President Barack Obama, our governor, although he doesn't know where Stony Point is, Governor Cuomo, and state very simply, based on what is stated in our resolution, we demand you rescind, and that's the word, rescind the presidential permit for the Champlain-Hudson Power Express based on incorrect information. Thank you.
I want to thank Susan, who did a fantastic job in arranging this meeting and getting it together with the Congresswoman. And it was very clear after the evidence has been laid out, the inconsistencies, the various inaccuracies, that there's some sleight of hand that's going on here, and the proper process for approving a project of this scale has not been followed. Now, the Congresswoman had signed a letter some years ago indicating her support for a project like this, and we have asked her to come to Stony Point, and we have asked her directly to pull back any perceived support that she may have for this project. Because there are a number of different members that signed on to a letter, but it's very clear in Susan's investigation, and I want to thank George, who was also at the meeting. Susan's investigation has proven that the project that was contemplated back in 2011 is no longer the project that is being rammed through. Specifically, back when this originally started, there was no land-based route for this line. This line was not going to carve a trench through Stony Point. Moreover, we believe that the project would not only negatively impact the economic vitality of this town and kill jobs in this town and in Rockland County, but it will kill jobs all across the 333-mile route of this cable. And so I want to thank Susan. She did a wonderful job in the meeting, and we're awaiting Congresswoman Lowy's response, and we hope that she will be supportive of the community now that she has the facts.
Thank you, Tom. And thank you, Susan.
Susan, in response to 2 weeks ago, you raised an issue about O&R on the Waldron Cemetery. Now, I have spoken to O&R, and they have told me in writing that they now, on their their mapping software, they have now identified that parcel as a cemetery, and they will be informing the supervisor and the town in advance with specificity anytime that they are prepared to do work on the Waldron Cemetery.
Can we get them to call the Sons of the American Revolution?
I'm sorry?
The Sons of the American.
Well, I think that's the town's responsibility. They're going to communicate with the town, and the town's responsibility would then be to make sure that somebody from either the Historical Society or the Sons of the American Revolution is there. And I was very plain. We want the notice so that somebody can be there to ensure that the integrity of the site is protected.
Can we get a copy of their mapping software?
I'm not sure.
Because to be honest, in speaking to them, they were very kind, they were very apologetic, and what is absolutely amazing is how do you yell at somebody when they're being kind and charming? Now, you know darn right well, they knew where the cemetery was. They knew. So I just want to make sure that they don't, he said to me, well, we only do this every 3 years. And I wanted to say, would you like me to drive over your grave every 3 years?
Right, but I think that the issue is, and with all fairness to Mr. Beamish, I think the issue is that they're looking at a grid of where that they are mandated now by the state and the federal government to do trimming, okay, especially after Sandy. And they're looking at a grid, and they've got a bunch of contractors, and they are sort of carving that up, and they're saying, all right, on Tuesday you're going to be here, and on Wednesday you're going to be here. But it was not identified in their map as a cemetery. They have fixed that problem now, and they will be notifying the supervisor anytime Waldron is going to be worked on. So that's a step in the right
Do
direction.
you need the application we sent to the SHPO? Would that help you any of
I don't think so. I mean, we have
application.
Mr. Beamis's office, and we also have the Public Affairs Office, and our person who manages Stony Point for O&R that I have spoken to, who has committed to do this. So, now we take. I'm going to take their word for it. It was a good. We've made some progress on this, so let's see how it goes.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Susan. And Tom. George Patano.
George Patano, 597 Old Road, and President of Space. I'd also like to thank Councilman Basili for coming to the meeting with Congresswoman Lowy. I was invited, as Susan mentioned, to come to the meeting, and I kind of let Susan do the talking. She certainly brought a lot of information to the attention of Congresswoman Lowy. You kind of hope that this thing could have all happened a bit sooner. We're sort of at a very critical point right now where the project is about to be approved. I know Susan's been here for about 3 years talking about this, and it's just very imminent right now, so I think it has people's attention. But I agree with Councilman Basili that the economic impact on this of digging a trench through Stony Point and impacting a big portion of our commercial district, I'm not sure we completely realize the impact that it's going to have. It can be significant. If there's differences in what the maps, approved maps show, that's pretty serious. I mean, I think what happens is this is sort of business as usual when these things go through. Nobody actually does what Susan does and actually goes and asks for copies of the maps and looks at them. But I have a feeling that this is sort of the way things are done, and that the communities don't find out until the actual work is happening, not when it's being discussed for approval. So we're somewhat ahead of things, I think, if we can get them to pay attention to it now before the work actually starts, if it's ever approved. But certainly, Stony Point is vulnerable in this way because we're the one where it's coming online in our town, and we're the ones that have the most to lose, I think, of many of the communities along the route. The other thing I'd like to mention is I did write a letter to the town, as you know, today, requesting copies of documents for the proposed gasification plant, which we did receive today, so thank you. I think it's important that the town now and in the future has a process in place when it wants to become lead agency on a project of such significance that the type 1 action under secret, that there ought to be a process in place for the town to follow to make these documents available in a timely basis. These documents have been out now for I think at least 2 weeks, if not more. And there are people asking about it, they asked me about it. I didn't have copies of documents to refer to, so it puts me in a bit of an uncomfortable position on a project that I would like to continue to keep an open mind on. So I think it's important And then you have Supervisor Phillips down in Haverstraw making all kinds of accusations, many of which I believe are unfounded in the press, unfairly, and I think there's no excuse for a elected official to be stating things that are untrue. He obviously has access to the information, and if he's using that as a way to rile up the public, I think it's in poor taste and not a constructive way for an elected official to act. He certainly has the right to have his concerns, and those should be channeled into the process and expressed in a proper way. But to make accusations to the press on things that I believe are inaccurate that he's stating, and maybe even unknown at this point, I think there's no excuse for that. But again, if the town is ahead of it and has this information available, I think it also helps address that problem. I'd also, again, I was at the last board meeting asking that the town also makes these documents, at least a set of these documents available at the library or a place where the public can come and look at it in off hours, because not everybody can get here by 5 o'clock, and there should be a copy available. I would suggest the Rose Memorial Library, or wherever you feel would be an appropriate place to have them available and people can look at them, and also to have them available online. These documents can be uploaded, they can be downloaded by people looking at them online. They ought to be available online for the public to view, so they can feel that they're informed about the project, and that I think also avoids having misinformation become a problem. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Just, I know I spoke with Madam Clerk today, Ms. Skinner, and our website, Mr. Osa is working on, if it's not on there already, we've downsized it onto a smaller disk. I know someone was in today or yesterday looking for a copy of it, so we're making that available on a disk. And it will also, if it's not already, I know Tom was working on it today, to be put on the website today.
There's, obviously you can't email it, it's too big, but if you put it on the
That's the problem.
website, people can go there and bring it down, and
That's exactly what we're doing today, because the problem was we were trying to email it to a few people and it wasn't going through. We had different email addresses. But today Tom has stepped up and has put it on our website. So that's what we take care of. I will make one comment on Supervisor Phillips' comments that he made. There has been some talk around the town, let's just say inaccurate, that false statements that are being made from the town to the south. And I'll get into it in my supervisor's address, and I just wanted to bring it up and just let you know that I agree with you 100%. We are going to have this great meeting on January 8th, and we'll be able to discuss it. But again, I'm going to mention a few things in my supervisor's address, so please do remind me if I forget.
I want to also be very clear, the applicant, the town board has made clear to the applicant that this is going to be an open process where they are, unless it's proprietary information, and they have committed to us that they are willing to share as much data as they possibly can with the community, because this is, they want to be good, make a good impression, obviously, as we begin this process, and they want to be good corporate citizens here. And as you point out, this is a complex development, so it's something that they're going to need to be, and I think they understand they're going to need to be available to provide a significant amount of information to the public on an ongoing basis. And we will do our best to do the same thing from the town's perspective as we move forward with the process.
Okay. Mr. Sean Pesamente.
Hello. I'm Sean Pesmenti, 12 Lindbergh Road. I'm sure you're all well aware of the situation. I didn't come here to argue, to start problems.
Just pull my
No, that's not stuff. Anyone can hear it. I didn't cause any arguments or anything, but I did see the video from the last meeting, and I just wanted to try to, I don't know, defend my family and myself. We are in the process of trying to find a piece of property. Our neighbors, which one is here, have been willing to help us out in the meantime, within code, one vehicle per property, so we can try to resolve this. We're not millionaires. We're working with 5 different realtors. It's not easy. My neighbors next door, they are lying to you. Somebody that fears their life or fears their home is not going to antagonize the people that they fear. They have called the district attorney's office on my 7-year-old for planting an acorn because she wanted to grow a tree. Her 22-year-old has attacked my 14-year-old. She has called the cops because people leave their house and they say that I'm chasing them down. I dropped my daughter off, and so happened we were on the same road. He was slamming on his brakes. So it's all tit for tat going back and forth. I went and I put up a fence. Cops told me to put up a fence. I don't have the funding, I'm not rich, so I put up a screen. I got a violation for that. I was told I'm wrong, but they have 6 cameras facing all my property. They call the cops, any little thing we do. So for somebody that fears their life, I don't understand. I mean, I've been feared too, but I wouldn't antagonize the people that I'm fearing. Second, they sit there and say that they can't sell their house. They haven't tried to sell their house. And I don't see how our tree business being there, where our trucks just park, we don't do anything on property, but park our trucks there. The guy across the street has sold his house. That wasn't an issue, so I don't understand why they're saying yes. You know, we were all friendly. Them and us, I don't know what went sour. They never came to us. When we started cleaning out the yard, we went to them, we told them what we were doing. We went to every neighbor. We asked them to sign a sheet of paper on who had a problem with our tree service being there, who didn't. Everyone signed but 2. Fonseca's and the Marinos. And they're the ones that are always here. The other thing that I want to bring up is, you know, we're trying. We're not looking to fight with them. We're not looking, you know, I want to live my life. I have a family to raise. I don't want to deal with their problems. I'm sorry she feels the way that she feels. But if at some point, if it makes her feel better, we're willing to sit down and find out what we did so wrong that's really making her out of fear. Yes, we took her off the water, but she doesn't have rights to our water. That, yeah, it was tit for tat, I get it, but, you know, I don't want to live like this either. So somewhere, somehow, there has to be some kind of compromise, but her constantly taunting, and she's doing the same thing to us. But when I call the cops, I get told it's tit for tat, they can't babysit us. When she calls the cops, there's 3 cop cars in my driveway. It's not fair. But I'm the ones that are getting thrown out. My kids are suffering because of it. And it's not right. But I just want to voice my opinion, because she's trashing me, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Thank you,
That's what I have to
Sean.
say.
I guess the only comment I'll make is that we're not throwing you out of your home. You understand that. There's been violations because of the illegal business on the
Right,
property.
but
So no one's throwing it out of your home.
No, not out of my home, I
I
get
just want to
that.
make sure for the record.
No, but it's personal now, more than the tree service.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll get right into the meeting. Purchase order request, there are 2 here. I took 2 out, we're going to table 2 until we have our full board for our next December 9th meeting, so there is 2 here.
Make a motion to
There's
accept.
been a motion to accept, second, and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Order the bills are here as well. I believe you see these. And they're both signed by both councilmen. I'll make a motion to accept the order of the bills.
Second motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Minutes, there's no minutes. We had them last week. Supervisor report. I'll just make a few comments here. Couple of announcements. Town of Stony Point dropped, let me go in order here. Last minute things to prepare for Thanksgiving. Drop your kids off at the Row Building right here on Wednesday, which is tomorrow night, November 26th, from 6 to 8. There'll be pizza and refreshments served, and please RSVP at our Recreation Department. Our phone number here is 947-5261. That's for last minute cooking and whatnot tomorrow night. Oh, and well, weather permitting, and we're hoping that we're not going to get any snow. It's not going to snow this year.
School district canceled everything.
They did.
Yeah, they said fall tonight.
Yeah, but school's not canceled.
No.
They shortened the day,
I thought it was
even though it was only half a day originally.
Yeah, early. I know they canceled evening program.
Just so I believe I looked at channel 12 last I saw was in our area was up to like 4 or 5 inches of snow. So hopefully that's about it. I know further north you go, Be looking at upwards of a foot plus, but hopefully we'll be very lucky here. At least it's not on Thanksgiving. Town of Stony Point Holiday Boutique, Ladies Night Out is Friday, December 5th, and that's at Kirkbride at 6 o'clock. There'll be jewelry, pocketbooks, a bunch of stuff that we're going to do there. What if your guy can come too? All right, maybe not. It says Ladies Night Out, no, only ladies. Then we also have Town of Stony Point's Drop and Shop, last minute shopping to do, drop the kids off, pizza and fun again. Here, that'll be December 18th for last minute holiday shopping between 5 and 8:30. The kids will have plenty to do up here. And of course, we can't forget this Monday coming up. We have our holiday tree lighting here in front of Kirkbride Hall. We're doing a few different things this year. We're doing, well, you'll see that night. But we'll have the Stony Point Elementary School chorus there as well. Of course, Santa Claus and Mr. Claus and the firehouse will be there helping out. Okay, and on a sad note, tonight we will be closing our meeting in honor of, I hate to even say this, but I just had dinner with him up at Jones Church on West Main Street on the roast beef dinner. Bob Moreland has passed away over the weekend, so we'll be closing tonight's meeting in honor of Bob. Bob was a member of our planning. Zoning board for many, many years, and a great guy, great Stony Pointer, and so we'll be closing tonight's meeting in honor of Bob. And let's see, Tractor Supply, I made a phone call this afternoon. We've been making many phone calls about Tractor Supply, because we get many phone calls on it. But I spoke to David Miller from Gator Investment today, and he has assured me that as of this week, there is a signed contract ready to go, so you will see work starting in there very soon. So that is a done deal. Please don't think that that they've gone away. We're all having second thoughts on it and wondering what's going on, but I was assured today that there is a signed lease as of, I believe it was Friday, he said, so that's great news. Again, I'll go back to the gasification plant. I'm sure people who have looked out on Facebook and whatnot, I won't get into it too deep, but there's a few, you know, we want this to happen. We're not here to ruin our town. We certainly don't want to bring something in here that's going to destroy our town. What we want is a good, clean, commercial rateable that's going to help us, not only our town, but our school district as well. And not only that, but as a county as well. The county has something to do with this. Over the next 10 years, you're probably looking at $10 to $15 million in county taxes. So we're all involved in this. We really want this to happen, but we're not going to just throw something in here that's going to hurt our community. That's not what we do. We're not throwing it into a part of our community where it's bordering Haverstraw. It doesn't matter where it borders. We share a school district. We want to make what's best for our community, and we really want this to work. We have a lot of opposition from the town to the south, Haverstraw, and there's been a lot of talk and nonsense, but what I'm asking and pleading people to do is not listen to what you hear out there right now, and come out on January 8th, and we are trying to move this to our Farley Middle School so we can get, fill the room up. We don't think this room is big enough for the other room here, so we're trying to get it into the Farley School where everyone can come and hear exactly what this plant is about, see what kind of money this is about, and see how this waste from New York City will be transported here. It's not coming up here in open trucks where you're going to be smelling trash or anything else like that. But again, January 8th, we're going to be holding that meeting, 7 o'clock, hopefully at the Farley School, and we'll have more information on that. We're hoping the press will run with it. We want people to come out and find out exactly what this plant is about. This plant is something that's going to benefit each and every one of us in this room and in this county. So we're very much for this. But again, we're not throwing something in our community that's going to hurt us, that's going to put pollution into the air and make our children sick. That's not something we want here. It's something we won't put here. But we're going to learn about this process, and we're going to get this process rolling, and we're going to find out what it's about. And that's what we're about. We want the public to be involved in this. This is very, very important. We need the public to be involved in this. This is about Stony Point. This is about North Rockland. It's about Rockland County. And please come out on the 8th and get the information that you need that night, because the nonsense that's out there on Facebook is exactly what I just said. It's nonsense. So don't listen to it. George, you have a question?
I asked about putting a printed copy, maybe in the library, even both libraries, or something. So
About the meeting?
No, about the
The documents.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It
absolutely.
should be in each of the libraries, a place that people can go and look at it and review it.
Yeah.
But just that would be the 2 announcements too.
Yes, I will definitely have that. And again, it is on the website as well.
Oh, okay.
If it's not on there today, it was being downloaded today.
And just to clarify, it's not New York City. It's,
That's in here?
yeah, you said that that's something that's been thrown out there, that it's
I said
city.
New York City.
city stuff. It's not, the intention is not New York City, so that's not in the plan. So again, it's a complicated issue. It's something that we all have to learn a lot about, how it's going to work, and education is the most important thing that we can do at this stage of the game. So.
I just wanted to mention one more thing. I see a gentleman in the audience here tonight that's done a lot for this town and who's done so much for our Stony Point Skateboard Park. I see Mr. Ailes in the back. Anyone who has a Facebook page knows Mike. He's selling hats for the Stony Point PAL and raising money for the skateboard park that we're proposing down on Beach Road in Stony Point. Mike has gone above and beyond. The committee's been working probably for the past year or more on this and raising money, but Mike is out there selling hats for $20 with the Stony Point Skateboard Park emblem writing on it there. And this is the time of year to buy hats. So if anybody is interested in helping out, not only PAL, but in bringing skateboard park here for our children so they can go out and enjoy such a great thing. There's a gentleman who's been pushing this so hard and working so hard, and I just want to give Mike a hand here tonight and thank him for it. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay. Police Department report, I talked to the chief earlier. I know there was one thing that is not on this agenda, and I believe, Joan, you want to, we have it. I believe in the resource. Okay. So there is number 6 will be added onto the agenda. It's reimbursement from, I believe, Homeland Security from the chief. He apologized that he couldn't be here. All the department reports and correspondence, is there correspondence? Yes.
This is from Wayne Hose. Wayne Hose Company Number 1 has been selling Christmas trees for the past few years as means of raising money to donate to local families less fortunate than ourselves. The money raised is distributed through several churches in our community. Due to the charitable nature of this sale, Wayne Hose Company would be most appreciative if the town of Stony Point would waive any permit fees required to sell Christmas trees. If you have any questions or need more information, please contact the company president. Thank you for your consideration, Kevin Huslinger.
Thank you, Joan. I knew there was one correspondence that we were going to be voting on. I apologize. We all know how great a job the volunteer Wayne Hills Fire Department does for us here in town, and I will certainly make a motion to waive, as we always do every year, for the wonderful job they do and raise money for great causes with the tree. So I will make a motion to waive the fees for the Wayne Hills Fire Department.
Second motion.
There's been a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Mr. White. Public hearing for our sign law. This is something that we've been working on for probably three meetings now anyway. I'm going to ask the board if we can continue to keep it open. I know I'm working with special counsel over the past few weeks on cleaning up the paperwork and having everything in order, hopefully by the December 9th meeting to discuss, but this is a public hearing and it is still open, so if there's anyone that has any comments or questions for the town board, you're more than welcome to do it now. Or, and again, this will be kept open, so we will be able to do this on the 9th as well. George?
George Botanovic, 597 Old Gateway Road. You guys have expressed my views concerning the idea of the billboard sign, electronic billboard sign, that I'm opposing it. I don't think we should be using our public streets for advertising space for this type of use. And it's questionable to me what the benefit is of having electronic signs. Originally, this was sold, or trying to be sold to the town as, or support, the support that the board gave seemed to be about having some kind of security needs, or that would be no cost to the town. And I think there is a cost to the town when you clutter up the street with billboards and create more visual clutter. I think that's just something we don't need in the town. It's not in keeping with the character of our town. I think there's other ways to communicate more effectively. Tonight I got a phone call from the school district. Probably thousands of people got the same phone call. In fact, I get it on each of my phones. I have to take one of them all. I get three phone calls every time. But when they want to send an announcement home, they can do that fairly easily today. So if there's really a need for safety or security issues that the town needs to know about, people in the town need to know about, there are many ways to communicate to them. I'd like to see us make more use of our website and other means of social media to communicate to people. More and more people are using that. And to me, that's a much more preferable way to communicate information about events and things that are happening in the town than setting up a billboard. So I know that the hearing is continuing. If there are going to be changes regarding the terms of this type of project, if the town is reconsidering its original thoughts regarding how this would be done, I think that should be provided to the public prior to that hearing being continued, so we understand where we are at this point. Okay.
Thank you, George. Is there anyone else in the public hearing? With that, I just broke. We'll keep the public hearing open until December 9th meeting. And we'll go right into our agenda. Any board members have any questions about the public hearing?
Nope.
Okay, number one is the ZBA appointment. I apologize. I was supposed to take this off the agenda until the December 9th meeting. So I'll ask the board to table this till the December 9th meeting, as January 1st is when the new appointment will take place.
So moved.
Okay? Okay.
Second.
Been a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Number two is, on a sad note, we're accepting the resignation of Gladys Callahan from the planning board. Gladys has been a great member, has done a wonderful job over the past, I believe, 9 years, at least 8 years anyway. And due to some health issues, she's been unable to attend, and she is requesting that we accept her resignation. And of course, we wish her the best and for speedy recovery and all her health issues that she is dealing with right now. So make a motion to accept the resignation.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number three, tax receivers credit card fee increase. Unfortunately, in 2014, with our new, we've been collecting, I believe, 3 years now with our credit cards. This year, with the 2.5% that we charge on top of the fees, I'm sorry, a 2.5% increase that we add to the taxes if you pay with your credit card to cover our fees, we've actually lost money this year. So in order to do that, I don't know the exact number. You have it at, is it $1,100? $3,300. So 1,100 times 3. $3,300 loss because of certain cards, I believe it's with corporation cards or corporate cards, I should say, that charge us more money to pay on the credit card and all this other nonsense. So surprisingly, we have a lot of people that pay their taxes and credit cards, and you know, I think most of them usually do it to build up credit and whatnot. You know, yeah, exactly. They get trips and they get gas and they get all this other kind of stuff. So unfortunately, it's cost us a few bucks. So it's been our special counsel and our finance director have been together and looking at other towns and seeing the percentages that they charge, and it seems that 3% would cover our cost, and it'll be close. Of course, we're not in business to make money when we collect taxes. We can't do that. So I'm going to make a suggestion here tonight that we increase the fee from 2.5% to 3%, and we'll bring this back up again next year when we see how we're dealing with the fees. So I'll make a motion to increase from 2.5% to 3%. To the credit card fees. And that's only for the tax receiver's office. That is the only office in the town, I believe, that we do accept credit cards. I'm sorry? Oh, the golf course, of course. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, who do we use, what bank we use for the credit card?
Transfers.
And what are they charging? They're charging us?
Yeah, I renegotiated the rate to drop it down, and also we're incurring fees on the non-compliance with the credit card, so it has to be done, so we can lower some of the fees, but even at 3%, you know, it's just.
But, no, I
What
do
it
know.
is, they can't tell, you can't discriminate when you accept the card, and you can't tell when you accept the card what percentage we're charging, but they do, some kind of cards, they charge us 3.7%. You know, some cards are up to 3.7%. Do all like corporate cards, they are points, there's, you know,
Do we accept all cards
they
or?
say you can't discriminate.
No, I mean as far as American Express, Visa, MasterCard.
Yes.
Why don't, we can say we don't accept American Express, for example.
Yeah, I think most of them don't use it, but I can get that.
It's just from the standpoint of it, you know, it's high enough and getting to know the fee people are paying, excuse me, the only way they can pay.
Yeah.
But the fees have gone up on the institutions, banking institutions. But a lot of places discriminate and say we won't accept American Express or Visa or whatever, so.
And 3% is what, like, the other towns are showing, and 3% seems to be standard percentage.
But I do think American Express is one of the higher ones from that standpoint, so maybe we should consider it.
Yeah, I think that 3.7 was not American Express.
Yeah, let's check, because I'm not even sure I
Yeah.
wish Kathy was here, I wish everybody asked that, but I don't know, I'm not even sure if we collect, if we accept American.
Well, we could have a golf course, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, the golf course.
That's why a lot of places don't accept American Express because of the fee.
How many people actually use their credit card?
It was, they charged like $347,000.
I was told it's somewhere around 10%.
10%?
Yeah, I was told it was somewhere between 7 and 10%. I believe so, anyway. And as Karen said, there was one bill that I believe it was over $50,000. It was a very large property in town that did pay $60,000. That did pay with a credit card that cost us an extra couple bucks. So there's going to be, cards that were not making money, but not getting charged as much as others. And that happened to be a corporate card. And again, I'm not a banker or anything, so I don't know how that works, but apparently we can't say no. If we accept them, we accept them. Me, I wouldn't accept them at all. If you can't pay your taxes with a check, or if you're going to put it on a credit card and be charged, well, forget the 2.5%, you're going to be charged 10, 20% some of these cards. And when you're paying $10,000, $60,000, forget it. But again, people are doing it because they get the points and prizes and whatnot. So, is there any more discussion?
I was going to ask the council if they could look into to make sure that there's no law against us discriminating in essence against the card, which is going to cost us more. Or they should be assessed the same fee.
But we can't, the banks won't allow
They
it.
can't change the fee.
Yeah. But our fee is one set rate. We can set a rate, but that's not with the banks. If you have a corporate card, if you have a gold card, a platinum card, and everything else, there's different rates that they are charging us.
It's got 20 different types of courses.
Yeah, we can't, and it's very, very hard to manage.
Yeah, but usually they use multiple cards. They won't. One bank won't do all three of them. For example, they won't do MasterCard, Visa, American Express, one on or one or two, and each one of them has a different rate. It's very unusual to see a bank has across the board 3%, for example.
No, there isn't, but we can't, we have to set a rate. We have to charge a certain amount. We have to put it on that tax bill when it goes out.
Old cards rate.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why, whatever we're being charged that rate, if it's American Express and it's 3.25, for example, we should just publish that you'll be charged this rate on that, unless you can't do it mechanically on your system.
Can I make a suggestion? We really wanted to get this done by the end of the year because, well, obviously in January we'll be collecting taxes again. We do have another meeting before then. Can we table this? Can I ask?
We can go forward with it, but.
No, let's do some research. Maybe, let's find out exactly what cards we're collecting. You'll rescind your second. I'll rescind my motion. And we will table this till the December 9th meeting. I'll talk with special counsel, I'll talk with our tax receiver, and we'll get to the bottom of this and make sure we're all ready for the December. The board's okay with that?
And it was 80 people that did use the credit.
It was 80 total people? Oh, so that's less than 10%. That's way less than 10%. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I don't want to throw out the wrong number, but I'm assuming most people have a mortgage and they're probably paying it through their banks. And that's why you see that number a lot lower. So, let's table until December 9th meeting. We'll do some research on it, make sure we know exactly what cards and everything else. But I do know that we can't start charging different for whatever reason. We'll get to the bottom of it instead of wasting our time. Good? You ready?
Yeah.
MasterCard, Visa, we're not approving.
Oh, so there's no more. And,
It's just that within my Visa, there's international, there's regulatory, there's retail, there's rewards, there's,
yeah, let's get it all together. We'll table this till the 9th. I will have a conversation with Kathy Campbell Lyons, our tax receiver's office, and we'll be more prepared for this before we're ready. Okay? Thank you. Number 4, Association of Towns dues. These are our annual dues. Resolution requesting to approve the $1,500 for membership dues to the Association of Towns, which we've been involved in for many, many, many years. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is to award the hot box. This is a box that's up in our Veterans Memorial Park here. And last year, we've had many problems with it. It's a temporary solution that we've been doing, banding it for the last probably 8 or 9 years that I've been here. And last year we had a serious problem where we had to replace one of our pumps, and we do need to get this taken care of. We did it again, a Band-Aid job last year. We have 3 quotes here, one being for $24,500, another one for being $25,800, and then a $27,895. This is something that we were hoping to have done by now, but we were out getting quotes, trying to get the cheapest available. And out of these 3, environmental construction seems to be the lowest at $24,500. And I would suggest, we've done some research, that we can use this money, the money from the buildings and funds, what's it called, buildings and funds. Thank you. But of course, we do have to go out for a 30-day referendum. So I'm going to make a motion that we award this bid to environmental construction with the 30-day referendum that they will be able to start with after the 30 days from the notice. Correct?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Well, any discussion?
What's this thing look like?
Well, I'll read it to you. It's basically, right now, as you go into Veterans Park, on the right-hand side, you'll see like I don't know, some kind of plywood that stands about 8 feet or 10 feet tall. There's pumps, yes, that's the one. It's been that way for quite some time, but what they're gonna do is they're going to come in and grade and level the area. They're gonna run new power line to the existing pole. They're going to pour a new concrete slab that this sits on, and they're going to install this new hot box with a heater. What it does is it heats the water that's going through so it doesn't freeze. This is what happened last year. I believe it cost us like $15,000 to repair last year. Don't quote me on that number because I'm not 100% sure, but it was a large amount of money that we spent on something to repair. So for a total of $24,500, we get this whole thing done. Landscaped up there, done and forgotten about and taken care of. Right now, I believe we run an extension cord to a heater that keeps the pipes from freezing.
So, and that's going to be an underground line, or?
I believe it'll be an underground line. Not 100% sure, but I believe it's an underground line, yes. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And number 6 is the add-on, if I can find it. Here we go. This is an add-on. I spoke with Chief, this is what I was talking about earlier with the police report. Chief Moore couldn't be here tonight, or his representatives, but this is a refund of a total of $16,726.56. And this is a refund from, it's a reimbursement, I should say, not a refund, from training on the counterterrorism training under the state Homeland Security program. So this is just a reimbursement of $16,726.56. We'd love to get money back, so I'll make that form of a motion.
Just one more, when
Yes.
it's back here, it says 17,004. That's not, that's the cost. Oh, okay.
No, yeah, the total was, yeah,
Brian told me 17,000.
what did I say, I'll just read it.
$16,000.
$16,726.56. That's the reimbursement. I'll make that in form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And I believe that is the regular agenda. I believe our chairman of the planning board would like to just come up to the mic and say a few words.
Yeah, just quick comment. The planning board, we do have a process in place that where we do distribute information to interested and involved agencies. Unfortunately, Space wasn't on it, but we took care of that, George, today. And so that's why the town of Haverstraw got their information 2 weeks ago. Depending on where the application is and what they're doing, gives us a list of who we're sending out, the involved and interested agencies. So that's the reason Haverstraw got theirs 2 weeks ago and George got theirs today. They weren't on our original list, but we've added it. And like he said about publicizing things, the day after our planning board meeting on the 28th, I did have the presentation posted on the website. So we are putting information, as we get it, we're going to distribute it, get it on the website as fast as possible. And for the January meeting, this was the applicant that wanted to have the information meeting. It's not part of our process right now, but this is the applicant, they wanted to get an informational meeting out there.
They requested it.
They requested it. They're the ones who asked us, say, listen, we'd like to get the planning board, the town board, we'd like to have an informational meeting and just go over the process. So the January meeting, like you said, they're going to go over the actual process involved, not anything after that. They're just going to do what the process is at the plant, and that's what the presentation is going to be on, and that's what any comments will be on, is the actual operations of the plant. We just got the application, and we haven't even declared lead agency yet. We're waiting to get responses back. So, like you said, Tom said, we're still early in this process. We're still learning as everyone else is learning. And to come out and comment on this project now, it's kind of premature because, we're still looking at the information. But just one thought.
That's the January meeting, right?
That's the January, yeah. So George, you guys have, you weren't on the original list for the interested agencies. You've been put on, so you'll get it. So that's why, like George, they didn't get it. Everyone else got it because, involved and interested agencies got the information. So we'll take, January.
Right, and I appreciate you coming up, Tom, and just explaining that we have an open door policy. We're very transparent here. This is exactly what this company wants. They don't want us working behind closed doors. They don't want us going to PTA meetings with 15 elected officials behind closed doors.
No,
right? That's not what's going on.
And like I said, as soon as I get the information, I get it to Bernadette, and they put it on the website as fast as possible. I try to get it PDF, some, like George said, some, a small size, so you can open it up, you can download, but, as soon as we get it, we're putting it out there for you, so, we want it as open as
That's what we're all
possible.
about, and that's the way we're going to continue to be, and we're going to make sure that the public is very involved in this issue, because this is, let's face it, this is about the public, and that's what it's going to be about.
And I assume that at the meeting, they will have additional visuals and other, sort
At
of
the January,
schematics.
right, at
meeting.
the January meeting, they're gonna have a slide presentation, and they're gonna go over what's involved at the plant, the process. The presentation they're gonna give is the process involved in
The
it.
technology.
The technology. When we get to the planning board meetings, we're gonna get involved with the effects on the air, on on the land, all those kind of uses. So this presentation is gonna be the process itself. So at our December planning board meeting, we're going to just see if we're going to be lead agency. We're going to get all the responses back, and we're just going to go through some of the processes, our standard, we got, what responses we got back from what agencies. We've been in contact with the DEC. I did see your letter, George. Thank you. I saw that it was, but we're working with that. And December's meeting, we'll just go through some of the process, but the January 8th meeting is a separate meeting from our regular planning board meeting. So we're going to still have our planning board meeting towards the end of January. This is just the informational meeting that like we've asked the applicant said, they're going to go through the process. They're going to do slides, and they're going to have the experts there that actually know the process. So, we're going to let them do their presentation, and then, any questions that come up we'll handle by
This
then.
is the joint meeting.
This is going to be the joint meeting on the 8th, right? And basically, the applicant, the planning board and the town board, we're not going to present anything. They're presenting the whole process, and then once they get done, the public can ask questions on the process itself, and that's what we're looking to do. Good? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
That being said, I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and no, there will not be any votes.